Several years ago, we were going away for several days as a whole family, and we needed someone to care for our dogs and cats. At that time, we had two dogs, and we found a neighbor who had never cared for our dogs before, but we'd known her a long time. And I remember asking her, she was coming a couple times a day to take our two dogs out to the backyard, bringing them back in, making sure they had their food. I remember reminding her to not let the inside cats out when she was taking care of the dogs. So we had some outside cats as well. And I can't remember how long we were gone or if somebody else was taking care of them. But we talked to Mary after the fact, and we even had it because we had a Ring camera and we had it on Ring. And she came over to let the dogs out, and she saw these cats outside and thought the inside cats had gotten out and didn't know how that had happened. And she spent a bunch of time trying to get them back inside. It was very funny watching it on the Ring camera, and they just wouldn't go. She's opening the door, and they would not go inside. Luckily, the inside cats never did get outside, and she was baffled. But the dogs were all taken care of, and it was something we all laughed about.
Well, again, when you say about going out, you didn't want them to come out from, we had them in the basement, I think, at the time.
Possibly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something. Anyway. Well, hello, this is Don,
And this is Gina with Focused Healthy Family.
and this is podcast number 196. And today we're talking about this holiday. Are you barking up the wrong tree? We're talking about pet care, how you can take care of your pets while you're out visiting with people or going somewhere for your time off.
First, I have a joke for you, Don.
Oh, okay.
All right. Where did the cat go after it lost its tail?
I don't know.
To the retail store.
That's good.
Why are cats good at video games?
I don't know.
They have 9 lives. And here's my favorite. What's the difference between a cat and a sentence?
I don't know.
A cat has claws at the end of its paws. A sentence has a pause at the end of its claws.
Okay. And I'll give this first tip. We always like to put out tips at this point, but uh, this is about delicious dangers, talking about the holidays. While this is a time of year many include some of the best foods, we recommend keeping your pet's diet the same as it is any other day. Fatty, sweet, and spicy foods, as well as turkey or chicken bones, can be dangerous to our pets. While a small piece of boneless turkey is a fine treat, it's always better to err on the safe side and avoid accidentally feeding your pet something that could have toxic spice or ingredient in it. If your celebrating includes alcoholic beverages, be sure not to leave your drink unattended where the pet can get a hold of it. That's a good one. I like that. We don't drink around here, luckily, but I could just see him sipping and getting drunk on a cat or a dog.
Getting drunk on a cat or a dog. I'm drunk on cats. Yeah, and it's not good for your pet to let them indulge in alcohol. So we're talking about taking care of animals during this holiday season, and really anytime you might be traveling or having guests over. I found an article from North Carolina State University that has a veterinary school entitled Holiday and Pets, How to Keep Them Safe This Season. So they talk about some general holiday hazards, thinking about decorating. We need to make sure ornaments, ribbon, tinsel, things that could be very dangerous, the cords, tinsel. Cats or dogs ingest that. It can get tangled in their intestines. It's a very serious problem. I know we stopped using our tinsel or garland when
I'm not even sure if they
we
do
got
they
it.
sell it anymore. I'm trying to remember if they do.
Um,
They They
I'm
may
not
have. I don't
sure.
know. That's a good question.
You
Anybody
want
out there know? Let us know.
you want to keep your pets away from dangerous plants. So poinsettias, mistletoe, holly, they can be dangerous and cause gastrointestinal issues. If you have a live tree, making sure your pet is not drinking from the water.
Yeah.
That's for the one thing we did one year is we gated off the tree to keep. I think we did it for a child,
Yeah, it's hard to say
but you can also do that for a dog.
for a dog. Cats is another word.
Cats like to climb trees. Although years ago, with our first two cats we got a live tree one year. And as much as they chewed on the artificial tree, they didn't like the live tree. They didn't like the stickiness of it or something. I remember that we had no
That's true.
trouble that year when we had the live tree.
Well, they talk about one of the ones on the list I have is, thinking about the volume of your music, because even cats and dogs can have sound sensitivities, and you don't want to, you know, blast your favorite Christmas tunes as loud as you can, and scare your cat or even injure it for that matter.
Well, their hearing is so much more um,
Sensitive.
sensitive that they
Yes.
can hear things at further distance. So yes, and thinking about, yeah, the music you're playing, this article talks about having a safe place for pets to go when there's people coming over, thinking about trying to keep the routine as far as their food, but you might need to sequester them in a specific place, having their food, their water, having something for them, or maybe hiring a neighborhood kid or someone to come spend time with them while you've
Mm.
got guests and things that you're entertaining, to keep them busy, to take them for walks. Um, you also want to be careful what foods your pets are getting. If you're having visitors over, are they slipping food? Is grandpa like giving treats to the dog? We've heard about people giving chocolate and other things that are really dangerous to dogs. Grapes are a big one. Um, the ingredients in grapes, so in raisins, therefore, highly dangerous to dogs. So thinking about things, food dropping on the floor, people setting a plate down, getting access to it, thinking about those safety features, just like you would, with a young child. And our pattern, our routine gets disrupted, whether we're traveling with the animal or whether people are coming to us, thinking about having things in place for safety.
Well, they talk about candles. We during the holiday season we burn them too. Just well, one to get the smell, but we have to think about what the what might happen if the cat knocks it over and could even possibly burn themselves. But big part of it just knocking over and causing a fire in the house or something like that.
Sure, you never want to leave anything unattended as far as flames, but being extra cautious. Yeah, especially with cats. This article also mentioned baked goods, anything that has xylitol in it. So it says artificial sweetener, but it's a sweetener that doesn't have calories. So it's in gum, it's in a lot of different things. It's really dangerous to dogs. So making sure that, they don't have access to that. And if someone's bringing over baked goods and things, that they're not getting any of that.
Well, they talk about here snow globes. They're made with why this ethylene glycol,
Ethylene glycol.
and that's dangerous for cats. And knowing some of our cats, or not cats, but our dogs could chew through even some tougher plastics and possibly get that kind of that effect on them. So we got to be watching snow globes and getting them up off the ground where the cats or the dogs can't get to them.
Being careful with gifts. Um, if there's anything that has a smell or scent to it that really might tempt a dog to get into it, think about where you're keeping those gifts. I know we, by all means, don't have anything with food in it left out or even put in stockings. The other thing is, I had another thought. Um, gifts. Oh, We had one year I did a fancy, it was like socks or something, but I used a bag and I put tissue paper and kind of made it look fun. Well, one of the dogs thought it was fun and like chewed on it and chewed on some of the socks. So knowing your pets, or if you're going somewhere, knowing the environment where you're going to be, whether it's with somebody else's pets versus your own. And, definitely thinking about, some of us like to wrap gifts and put them out ahead of time by the tree. Do we have little gremlins who are going to wreak havoc, like decorating the tree? We don't put anything breakable on the lower branches of the tree. Um, we have some softer, non-breakable ornaments that we'll put lower, but we do have cats who still like to try to climb into the tree and can knock things down. You can have a little fun by hanging some kind of bell on the tree, and then if someone's getting in there, um, to kind of warn you.
Well, they talk about here too of this is kind of going outside, but when we use different ice melts when
Mm.
we're out in the driveway or for the car or whatever, those can be dangerous to animals too. Uh, that or they talk about a salt dough ornament. I'm not sure if we have those or not, but that too is dangerous for a cat, and they can smell them and they may want to try to eat them. So you have to be careful of those kind of things that can again hurt the animal.
This mentions anchoring a Christmas tree so they don't get knocked over. I know our son has three cats, and they had to do that before because their cats knocked over their tree. You could, anchor it to the ceiling, or thinking about different ways to anchor it down to
I think
prevent
we
that.
just end up putting weights on it or something like that, on the bottom to keep it from falling over.
Yeah,
But
that's one way, putting some kind of big soft weights or something down. If you're traveling with your pet, don't forget to bring everything your pet needs, thinking about their medications, first aid, their food, copies of their medical record. Maybe you're going to go take your dog to visit somewhere, a nursing home or facility. You want record that they've had their rabies vaccination. Most places will allow dogs in with that um, record of that information. If you're flying with your pet, you need to talk to your veterinarian ahead of time. Are there calming medicines that they can take? But are there reasons it would not be safe for your pet to travel with you, either by car or airplane? Um, and this talks about, you can learn more tips, and we can share this link at the North Carolina State Vet Hospital website. We'll share a link to that. Thinking about traveling with your pets.
well, they talk about here too if well, one, minding your medication. Now, that's very true for us that live here and all that to do that anyway. We do. But also think about those that might be coming in to stay in your house and making sure that they um, close up their medications, put them up somewhere where if you have dogs or cats or whatever in the house, you want to be aware of what they might be bringing too and keep them in line with, and the other thing about that is outside the medical part, but if your dog eats slippers or eats different things that you don't want them to eat the people visiting you, and you want to kind of put them up again, let them know about that beforehand too.
Thinking about pets. Wow, I keep forgetting what I'm going to say. Um,
That's supposed to be my job.
Go on to the next tip while I think about it.
Uh, well, you've covered a lot of my tips. I think uh, I talked about, yeah. Well, this one, I'm not sure. I didn't get a
Before
chance
you
to
jump
read.
into it, medication. So I know a lot of people, seniors, that will take their medicine out and put them on a table, on a napkin in their lap before they take them. And if you've got pets around, these things can easily be dropped on the floor. So
Hmm.
whether you're going somewhere with your pet or people are coming to you, think about that. Find out the routine of when they take their medicine. Asking them maybe to take their medicine in their room, or away from pets, or just being aware of that, tuning into those things that can happen.
Well, the last thing they talk about is, making sure, we know this for a fact because we have to put a weight on our trash can. You want to make sure, especially if you're getting rid of stuff from eating, from gift wrapping, all that kind of stuff. If you're putting in the trash can, there's the one of the devils in our little house there. But make sure to take trash out if you've got things because they can smell it and they may want to be able to taste it. So, but that's our little sunshine there.
So the other tips are thinking about options for people to care for your animals. We've had people come specifically for the cats and other people for the dogs. You can have pet sitters come to you. You can go to boarding places, but be sure to thoroughly check them out. It's good to do a trial run at one of these places before you go off on vacation somewhere or travel out of town and leave your pets in this location. So doing a trial run at the place, some dogs can handle boarding places and others cannot. And it's worth really investing your time to learn more about the place and look at reviews. But you can also So thinking about, can you bring someone into your home who can look after your pets? There are people who will stay at your house to house sit and pet sit. You can have someone come over. There's some different agencies. I know our daughter worked for WAG. These people can come into the home, feed your pet, spend time, play with them, take them for walks. I even looked on care.com. You can search for pet sitters there. It'll tell you where they are, gives a little bio about the person. Again, try these people out ahead of time if you're able to. Some pets do better staying in their own space versus going to a board and care place and finding out. We really need to think about if we're bringing our dog or someone to someone else's house and they have a dog too, that you can't just expect animals to get along that don't know each other, haven't been around each other. So we need to respect our animals and do what's best for them. Yes, we might miss them at the holiday, but maybe taking them to grandma's is not in their best interest. Maybe it's not about another pet in the home, but maybe it's grandma's always dropping food and thinks she can feed the dog. And if she can't honor not doing that, then, maybe he doesn't come along. But looking into options for care for, if you know somebody, make sure you go over a plan with them. Kind of a funny story, had a happy ending at least. We went away for 3 nights with this little family vacation with the six of us, and we had my mom come take care of the cats. We actually brought the dogs with us. And the cats tend to hide when there's people they don't know in the house. And she came over to feed them. She called both their names. She never saw either of them. She made sure there was food in the bowl. Well, it turns out Sunshine had been locked in the closet. Abby had taken a shower right before we left, and she had opened the closet upstairs to check for, to get her towels or whatever. Did not know that she had climbed in there and somehow did not make any noise. Um, every time my mom came over. And when I got home, I heard her up there and we had her checked out at a vet. She was a little low on fluids, a little dehydrated. Luckily, having a daughter who's a vet tech was able to administer some subcutaneous fluids to her. We had, her blood levels and things checked out to make sure she was okay. And luckily, it hadn't been longer than it was because they can only go, up to 3 days without water. And she's trimmed down now, but we got to make sure things like that are not happening. And it was sort of we didn't check right before we left. We usually check, no cats are locked in a room in a closet somewhere. And we failed that little step. And luckily it did have a positive um, ending, but could have been a really devastating one.
Yeah.
So thinking about, who's caring for your pets, are they capable of, searching for them? The cat was in an upstairs closet. My mom can climb stairs. She goes, if she had heard, a cat making noise, she would have gone up there looking. But
Yeah.
um,
Well,
so thinking about, and having friends or family coming to care for animals, you need to think about, what their limitations are, what are they capable of doing, you know, having that understanding of the responsibilities involved.
Well, I also think about the time when Abby and I went to St. Louis, and we were on, I think we were on our way, I think we were on our way there. I'm trying to remember, but we pulled into this convenience store, and as we were driving through, Abby spotted this car parked in the fill up station, getting their fill up, and there was a dog in the background, and the lady
He was in the
had
back of the car.
he was in the back seat of the car,
Yeah, in the
but
back seat of the
the
car.
lady walked off to the into the station, and she saw the dog climb over the and almost hang there for a minute. And she's like, "Oh gosh, we got to save this." So we pulled over. As she reached up to the car, it fall down and it was getting ready to jump out of the car when she was able to grab it and hold it, waiting for the lady to return from the station. And she was very thankful for us. And like I said, this is stuff Abby's peripheral vision catches all of this stuff, which is
Being tuned
great,
into animals. And, this website says you never should, leave pets unattended in a vehicle. And it is, I also talk about being sure to secure your pets when you're traveling. They really need to be in a crate or in a harness. They make real simple little harnesses that'll snap on to the back of
Yeah, because
seat belts and things to secure them down. Because what happens if you suddenly have to stop or stop short? Are
yeah,
they going to go flying? You see it's cute, the little chihuahua sitting on someone's lap as they're driving. But what happens,
it's
if there's an accident, what's going to become of that animal?
not much different than, your child and making sure they're safely seated in the car seat
Well, and a
too.
dog like, a Chihuahua is very lightweight and can really go flying. So having it secured in there, having a crate, we bring a crate with us usually when we're traveling with Shiloh, because if we go out of the house we're staying in, he's safer being in a crate, while we're gone for a little bit, having special chews and treats that the animal likes so that they can be okay for a little while, either in a
Yeah.
crate or left alone for short periods of time. But thinking about those things as you're traveling. So we'll share the link for this website and the tips. Don's so the North. I like the North Carolina State University listed all these different tips, and you can look at their website for more. You can check out places like wagcare.com has a whole section for finding pet sitters in your area. You can learn about these people. I know certain services, like our daughter did WAG, she had to have references to be listed on their site, and you can learn more about the people.
My tips came from ASPCA,
Okay.
and you can find these tips we talked about here and some other stuff on their site too. So we'll put that, like I say, put it up on the
Description.
description. Yep.
So, hope you don't go barking up the wrong tree this Christmas, and take good care of your holiday pets. I know we had a dog, Olive, loved to open presents, which can be fun, but you have to think about it. The dog's going to want to open everybody's presents. And we'd wrap things for her in brown paper bag, something that was safe if she got a little piece of it. But hope you've enjoyed this podcast as you're preparing it this December, whether it's just winter weather or different holidays or traveling, visiting with family. Please reach out to us. We've got several podcasts on here recently where we've interviewed a large number of people. Hopefully next week we'll be talking to Rita Gardno again about self-care tips around the holidays. Please leave us a comment, like, and subscribe to our podcast. If you like what you heard today, please share it with other people. We've covered a variety of topics from when we first started the podcast, focusing more on kids, and now over the past year and a half or more on caring for aging loved ones. Reach out to us at our website, focusedhealthyfamily.com. Learn more about things that we do. Learn more about Don's EFT tapping practice. He'll be resuming his Tuesday night tapping after the holidays. You can see us again at our website, on Instagram, Focused Healthy Family 1, Facebook at Focused Healthy Family, You can watch us on YouTube. All our podcasts can be listened to anywhere you listen to podcasts, as well as at YouTube. Join us each Thursday as we air the podcast. And you can meet Don live and in person on December 9th. He's going to be in Fort Mill, South Carolina. That's just south of Charlotte at
Lavender Hills.
Lavender Hills Memory Care on December 9th at 10 a.m. and again at 6 p.m. He's going to do a talk on EFT and dementia. So this is an event that's open to the public. There's a Facebook page for it, again at Lavender Hills Memory Care in Fort Mill, South Carolina. So thank you again for joining us today. And remember, how you speak to your children, your pets, and your loved ones today shapes their future and yours.